sitting at the top of our menu since day one, transforming customers into fans. We constantly have our finger on the pulse, helping us create not only the world's best kitchen appliance, but unforgettable experiences really worth sharing.
Drugs in one of those cupboards.
The same passion we can, not only digitally, in their homes, regardless of where they come from. What drives them,
Thermomix cooking class on now.
or what holds them back. We inspire them to try new things, because everyone
Those veggies and noodles down there, Lisa, you'll love it. Ask if he's hungry and give it to him.
everyone should be able to turn a hand
What did you have?
to a wow.
What song do you want?
Vegetables.
Best Thermomix we've ever made.
I don't know, Mark. I think I want to go to the lake. Go to the,
Chop,
want
grind,
to go to the lake for a drive.
and boil. For the first time ever, new
Right.
cooking oats add more thoughts to your cuisine.
But I want to, I'm still hungry. What can I have? I will get my food. These nuggets are good.
Made effortless. More homemade yogurt and cheese. More pulled garden variety. More taste highlights for adding roasting aromas. And caramel creations prepared in a jiffy. The new Thermomix is cleaner, more powerful, and it's quieter. With a way larger display, a highly intuitive user interface, and recipe recommendations, making the best homemade meals easy peasy. Built-in Wi-Fi and Cookie-Doo provide daily inspiration, with over 40,000 guided cooking recipes created and shared all over the world, regardless of which device you use. And the best part, it gets better and better all by itself. Smart at heart, just like you.
Yeah.
The all-new Thermomix by Forvag.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my kitchen in Bentley East. For those who haven't been here before, my name is Michelle Moss, and I am one of the team leaders of the Sublime Tribe, which is a wonderful branch of team leaders in Melbourne. So we are so excited today to present you with our Meals in a Flash class. Now, it's no coincidence that we've chosen this book. This book is this month's purchase gift when you buy a Thermomix, along with our amazing toolkit, kitchen toolkit, and I will talk about that throughout the class. But before we talk about that, because some of you don't even own a Thermomix yet, so let's not focus on that. Let's focus on what the Thermomix can do for you. So we've had a look at the registration report. Thank you for filling out the information. We've got a mixture of people on here today. We've got some people who haven't made the investment yet. We've got a lot of owners of Team 31s and Team 5s, and we've also got a lot of Team 6 owners. So the beauty of those of you who already own a Thermomix is that the language of cooking in the Thermomix hasn't changed. So we've always talked about simplicity as being one of our key things. The language of time, temperature and speed has not changed. So upgrading from a 31 or a 5 to a 6 is a really easy transition. And let me tell you, if you love your Team 31 and you love your Team 5, the Team 6 will blow your mind. It has got capabilities that are growing by the day, and we're just always surprised by what it can do for us. So you're going to experience some of those things today. We've got 5 of us presenting today, 5 different dishes from 5 kitchens all over Melbourne. So you'll just also get a bit of a look at not just what the Thermomix can do, but what our business is all about. So here we all are in the comfort of our own homes, comfort and safety at the moment of our own homes, cooking for you. You're in the comfort of your own home as well. And it's a bit like watching a cooking show, but have the ability to ask questions. So, we looked at this 18 months ago. Who would have thought that doing these things over Zoom would provide service? But we've been doing it for so long now, and our customers are absolutely loving the inspiration, the motivation, and the hobby of cooking again, because every meal we're having is coming out of our own kitchen. So the fact that we can do that, not just ourselves, but with our families and easily with the guided cooking on Cookie-Doo, it's just incredible. For those who don't own a Thermomix, Cookie-Doo is like Netflix for recipes. So it just opens you up to a whole world of, literally a whole world of recipes. So over 70,000 recipes across 20 odd countries. The sky's the limit of what you can cook. But anyway, as the team know, I could talk all day, and they're probably all going, wrap this up, Michelle, because we want to get cooking. So our first cook today is the gorgeous Mandy Powers, and I'll let her introduce her dish, not steal any thunder, and I will be back with you soon.
Thanks, Michelle. That was amazing. It's a bit of a running joke. There's a few people on here who can talk a bit, and I'm not usually one of them. But anyway, yeah. All right, so for those of you who haven't seen the TM6, I'm just going to find the recipe so you can actually get to see it from here. But just basically, it does look like a TM5. For anyone who hasn't seen the TM5, we've got time, temperature, speed. Whichever one of these is large, you control with the silver knob. So you turn your time up here and so on. Oops, went the wrong way. You can also then swipe, and you get to see all these different functions on here. We've got scales, 1 gram increments on the TM6, turbo, which is just super fast, really helpful thing. I use that a lot. We've got a pre-clean. Oh my God, does that change your life? Automatic blend, an egg boiler. So you can actually put your eggs on and walk away and just set it, and they'll be done as you want them. Just amazing. A kettle mode, a warm-up mode, and then a lot of these things that we use in the guided cookings, which is thicken for sauces and custards and things. The rice cooker, fermentation for your yogurts. Excuse the English accent, can't say it the other way. Sounds wrong. Slow cooking, sous vide. So sous vide is a bit more chefy, I guess. But anyway, let's get on, and I'll show you where my recipe is. So I'm going to come up to this little thing up here. I'm going to go to my week. And I'm pretty sure Michelle will show you a little bit later on about how you can put things into your week. But these are the recipes that we're cooking today. And I am cooking Mediterranean seafood with tomato and fennel. Sorry, someone's putting something on. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to literally go start cooking. So as Michelle said, it's so easy. And simple and easy to follow. So I'm starting off with 2 garlic cloves. I have 2 big fat garlic cloves lurking in here. I've got a few ingredients here together. So I've got my garlic. I've also got, sorry, it's parsley, and I've also got, it's not working, some onions. So all those things are going in. Okay. And I'm popping my lid on, and then I'm chopping for 3 seconds, speed 6. So it's set the time for me. All I've got to do is turn up to speed 6. All right, so if you haven't seen it before, that is how quick 3 seconds for this. All right, you've got to be really careful though when you put your face over it, because your onion's all beautifully chopped up in there. All right, so next, 20 grams of olive oil. I use Cobram olive oil. So let's get that in there. There we go. And I've got, then in here, I've got half a teaspoon of ground turmeric. I've got, I don't actually have marjoram in my cupboard, so I have mixed herbs in there. I've made this quite a few times and it's delicious. Sumac and tomato paste. So all those are going in. Now, just a little tip, we do add this a bit later, but if you're using turmeric in your cooking, or turmeric as I think the Indian people call it, then you must, to make the most out of it, you need to make sure you add black pepper, but there is black pepper coming in shortly. All right, popping my lid on with all those spices and the garlic and the onion, and it's just going to cook for 2 seconds. So it's set my time, it's set my temperature. I just had to turn it up to speed 2. Now, whilst that's happening, I'm going to show you, just talk to you a little bit, because I'm going to be steaming and using the Varoma. Now, the Varoma is our steamer, and it's this. It sits on top of the Thermomix. We'll see that in a minute. But there are some basics with using your Varoma. You need to have 500 mils of liquid in there, whether it's a stock, whether it's a soup, whether it's water, and then you set the time. It's always Varoma temperature, because Varoma temperature is a rolling boil. If it's set on 120, which Varoma temperature is also 120, but on the temperature dial, if you set it to 120, that is on a thermostat and it will click off. So it needs to be on Varoma temperature to create steam and continually boil and create the steam before steaming. And it's always speed 1 when you're steaming. So you set the time, it's always Varoma temperature and it's speed 1. And if you, when you get your TM6, you get a white basic cookbook, and in the back of here, there is actually a whole section which shows you steaming functions, and it explains exactly what I've said there. And if you need to steam for longer than 30 minutes, then you add another 250 mils for each extra 15 minutes. And this just tells you all that. And then it also tells you how long it takes to steam various vegetables, fish, actually steaming the fish today, the fish, and meat. And it sounds a bit odd steaming your meat, but I'll tell you what, it's so moist and beautiful. Whereas, sometimes chicken can be a bit dry. It's never dry when it's been cooked in the Varoma. Okay. Perfect timing. All right, so now I'm going to add 400 grams of tinned tomatoes. Really good tip is always to check that you're on 0 before you put something in. So because I took the lid off, it went to minus, and it gets very confusing if you're trying to work out how much you're putting in. All right. Always a good test to see how much they put in the cans as well. Usually a bit under. And then 150 to 180 grams of fennel. I am a bit over, but I don't like leaving little bits in my fridge. If I could have and left it and then just frozen it for stock next time I make stock, but I figured I might as well put the whole lot in. So that's all going in there. 1 teaspoon of white sugar and 2 to 3 teaspoons of vegetable stock. So that's just all mixed in there together. Of course, homemade vegetable stock, as I mentioned before, all those bits and pieces that are left in the fridge at the end of the week, if you haven't used Cookie Doo to find a recipe to put them in, just chop them up, freeze them, and next time you're making stock, bring them out and just make sure you defrost them first. It does not work if you put frozen vegetables into your Thermomix for making stock. Here's my ground black pepper. And there are recipes, if I'm, whatever recipe I'm using, if it's got turmeric in it, I don't care whether it's sweet or savoury, the black pepper goes in. That helps to activate the curcumin in the turmeric, which is what gives you the benefits of it. All right, so Varoma. It's asking me to pop the tray, pop my fish to the tray. So I've done that. This is actually barramundi, chopped up, seasoned with salt and pepper. I've done that bit, but I haven't drizzled with olive oil. So I just pop a little bit of oil on the top. Secure the Varoma lid. So it's so easy, it tells you exactly what to do for everything. And then this is going to steam for 12 minutes, Varoma temperature, speed 2, and it's on reverse. So it's not chopping, it is just stirring the whole time. So I'm going to leave you and we're moving over to Michelle.
Hello, back with me. Well done, Mandy. I wasn't quite as organised today as I wanted to be, so that gave me the perfect time to prep this recipe. That's how easy it is. So I am lucky enough to be making a dessert today, and Friends of mine used to say to me, like, don't get Michelle to bake anything, it's terrible. People I've met since I've owned a Thermomix call me a baker, so I find that quite hilarious. So anyway, I'm going to bring you into my business partner, the Thermomix. Now, as Mandy said, you can find your recipes saved in here. I have got this actually in my week. So with Cookie Do, you have the ability to do meal planning and even create shopping lists and send it off to Woolies, but that's a whole other story. So here's my recipe. Now, if you're not sure about a recipe, you can go down into here, have a look at your ingredients to get them ready, which is what I just did a minute ago. It's got all your preparation steps there as well. And then any nutritional information. Now, let's not be focused on the calories because I'm making a cake, but for those who are calorie counting, it is very helpful with other recipes. We've got lots of salads and healthy recipes as well. So leaving nothing to chance, preheat the oven, which I have actually done already, and greasing a ceramic pie dish. So I'm not using a ceramic pie dish today, but I'll show you what I'm using in a minute when it's ready. So my first ingredient today is some blanched almonds, which I did blanch myself yesterday. But what I'm going to do first is the next ingredient is actually caster sugar. Now, I don't buy caster sugar. I just buy brown sugar, and I've got a bit of flour on the top of that because that's also needed in the recipe. So for those who've been to a Thermomix cooking experience and seen our Fruity Dream, you would have seen our magic sugar trick. But what I'm going to do, so in 10 seconds we make icing sugar, but in 4 seconds I can turn that into caster sugar. So the beauty of that sort of falls into that category of cost saving because I don't need to buy lots of different sugars. It also falls into the, even with sugars, you can have health benefits because the more processed something is, the more likely it's going to have anti-caking agents. So even though I'm in my recipe, I can press home and I can just set that for that 4 seconds and go into speed 9 to create my caster sugar. Beautiful. And now that it's done that, so for anyone who doesn't know, if you tap the screen, that chime will stop. Now I've got my caster sugar ready to go. So there's a little first tip for today. So now I'm going to go back into my recipe because see it bookmarked it here for me. So I don't need to go looking for it again. It's going to bring me back in where I want it to go. And I can go back to my almonds and pop them in. So caster sugar's in because I just did that. The tablespoon of plain flour was in with my sugar. So now what we're going to do with those almonds and sugar is grind them up for 10 seconds on speed 5. There we go. I'll show you what that looks like. Now, I did do something I don't normally do the other day, which is I don't normally pre-make a recipe. But I did do that with this one the other day only because I don't have a ceramic dish. So I wanted to see if the dish that I have was going to work. But anyway, I was pretty happy I pre-made it because it was absolutely delicious. And we all had it for dessert with a scoop of ice cream on Thursday night. So I've just got some butter here. So 80 grams of butter. Next step is to just melt that butter just for a minute. So I'm going to pop that on speed 2 and I'm going to come back and just show you the dish that I'm talking about using, which is actually our quiche, rose gold quiche dish. So this was the only thing that I had that was the right size. So the beauty of this is that it's actually got one of these bottoms that comes out. So I didn't actually make quiche the next day because I went, I've got my quiche pan, I don't want to make a quiche. But really great to use for any of those sorts of things. So whether it be sweet or savoury. Now, all I've done, the other thing is I'm being a bit lazy. I've greased around the sides here, but then we do sell on our mix shop pre-cut parchment paper. So I've got a packet of those with a 23 centimetre spring form tin, and I'm just going to pop that, line the base like that. So what I can tell you about this dish is that it's a bit like a friand. So when if you go to cafes and you buy, and they're tiny, they're little oval shaped sort of cupcake looking thing. They're often gluten-free. And this one, although I'm not making it gluten-free today, you definitely could, but it's that beautiful kind of sugary almond kind of flavour that you get with a friand. Alrighty, so that's that minute of butter melting. 2 eggs, I'd cracked one of them. So, cardinal sin of bakers, cracking an egg straight into the pot. but I did it anyway. There we go. I live on the edge, don't I, girls? Next ingredient is 50 grams of milk. The thing I did love when I made this the other day was that it was so simple. And sometimes you look at the pictures of things and think that they can look a little bit tricky. And then I made this and went, oh, it's so easy. So a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Now, I do sometimes make my own. However, I do have this big giant tube I bought at Costco. Now, if you are someone who likes to measure things, please do. But if you're not that person, you don't need to change the way you cook with a Thermomix. So if you're a bit of a, a chuckarina, you can still be a chuckarina. So just half a teaspoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt. Where's my salt? Oh, hang on. I haven't got my salt, girls. Get my pinch of salt. There it is. And 50 grams of plain flour. Now, as I mentioned, this could be gluten-free flour, but I haven't used that today. Alrighty, so now in goes the reserved almond sugar mixture. This is just how simple this recipe is. The thing that's lovely about it is it's simple, but it looks really impressive. So now it's just going to do a 5-second mix on speed 4. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to bring that back. So we've got my flan here. Now, the beauty of this batter is it's a cross between sort of a batter and a sort of biscuit. So it's not super runny like a cake batter so much. So it makes it quite easy to work with. And I'm literally just going to pour it in here. And this quiche pan, it just actually worked out to be perfect size. The other thing about this is that we had it warm the other night with a scoop of ice cream, but I have also had the piece the next day cold, and it was delicious as well. Now, I'll give you an extra little tip. So you can see now here that I've got batter on my blades. So what I'm going to do is one of our favourite modes in the TM6 and the TM5, and in fact, even the TM31, whichever one you've got, is the turbo. So what I want to do is just not waste any of that delicious batter, and I'm just going to give it a 1-second burst. And what that's going to do is flick everything off the blades to the outside of the bowl. So you can see there, I went out of my recipe and just back into it again super quickly. And there's all that batter off the blades. I always say, so if you're making, protein balls, cupcakes, anything like that, you'll get another cupcake out of that or another biscuit out of that. So it's always worth doing. It makes it easier to clean. It fits in with our no waste policy. So it ticks a lot of boxes to do that. All righty, so you can see now with this that it's quite thick. So I'm just going to use a spoon to just push it out a little bit, flatten it out a little bit. So the bit that, if you look at the picture of this recipe, it's got the pears, decorated on top. And whenever I see anything like that, that sort of, frightens me a bit because I think, oh, I'm not a baker, that looks a bit fancy. But actually, it was quite a simple thing to do. So I'm going to leave the camera like that. And I just sort of cut my pear into quarters and just going to fan it out. And the beauty of these sorts of things is that it really doesn't matter, because once it's cooked, it all just looks pretty. So I'm just space it in there. If you've made this recipe before, pop it in the chat and let us know. Or if you've got a favourite sort of flan or cake recipe, let us know. Because, the thing that I love about when we do these classes is that we all point out different recipes. One of our team members the other day did a strawberry quinoa salad. And I'd never even seen that before. And I probably would have gone, oh, that's weird, and kept going. And she's raved about it. So now I've added it to my week. So it's one of those things where that's what we love about doing these classes, is that we can just be inspiring you guys and each other. So I've had lots of lovely messages from customers saying, thanks for running these, because I've tried dishes that I would never have tried, or maybe not have even stumbled across, because there's so many. So that's really that. And then the other little step is to just pop. It says to dot it with butter and brown sugar. So not for the faint-hearted, this recipe, but certainly for those who like to bake and like a bit of flavour. So, and I do love my butter, so I won't be shy with my butter here. Now, I'm not sure how long I've taken, but I think I was allocated about 10 minutes to do this dish. And I said to the girls, I reckon I can do it quicker than that. So how's it going?
You've got 1 minute, 1.5 minutes left till I'm ready.
Well, there you go. So, and I haven't taken a breath. Talkity
So
talk.
there was a question there. So I've had a few people, just make sure when you're putting in the chat box that you're going to everyone. So I've had a few personal questions. So someone was asking, did you grease the tin? And I think you did. And then you put...
I greased the edges, but I haven't greased where the baking paper is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it says to put a bit of brown sugar. I've just got a lump there, and I'm just going to be really, look away, Jenny. This is not keto.
Yep, I can see that.
But gee, it tastes good. When I said to them the other night when everyone liked it, and the funny thing about that is that we're actually not cake people. So but I've always loved sort of an apple pie or apple tart or, sort of fruit cake type things. Now, because of the base in this, I'm actually going to pop it onto a tray because otherwise I might pick it up and fly it everywhere. But now that is literally going to go in the oven for about 25 minutes and it's ready to serve. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy the show now. But hey, I mentioned before about you're getting a little bit of an inside, behind the apron and what our business is all about. If anyone wants to know a little bit more about it, our branch manager is going to run a little session at the end. So we will give you her Zoom number at the end. But please jump on if you want to, even if you're slightly interested, you think you might want to know something about it. It's just a bit of a Q&A and it'll give you a bit of an insight as to the other fun stuff we do other than just cooking for you guys. All right, I'll see you back with my my cooked.
One question for you. Can it freeze?
Pardon?
Can it freeze? Can you freeze it?
I haven't tried it, so maybe I'll freeze a bit of this one. But
can you just check in the tips?
I would wonder if the pear would go a bit funny.
Milan did comment earlier and saying it does freeze well.
Oh, thanks, Milan. Yeah, there you go. Do you know what the thing about it is? It's actually not a massive portion. So I reckon you're probably not going to have any left to freeze. Just eat it.
Perfect. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Okay. So back to me. Perfect timing. She spoke just long enough. So mine's just literally finished. I'm on to the next stage. Remove the varoma and transfer the fish into the thermal serving bowl or a large bowl and cover to keep warm. Now, a couple of tips here to show you. Whenever you're taking the lid off your varoma, always tilt it away from you so the steam goes away. And whenever you put your varoma on your bench, turn your lid upside down, pop the lid on there first, and then take your varoma off so that any drips are going to drip onto the varoma lid and not all over your bench. Okay, so my fish is cooked. I'm going to just transfer that into the thermoserver. So probably quite a lot of you are aware what a thermoserver can do for you. It does mean you can make your meals in advance, keep warm for a couple of hours. So, and they are host rewards. So if you know a couple of people who are curious about checking out the Thermomix, it's a great thing to do and to share them, they get the opportunity to get one of these. And there are other host rewards too, which I think Kerr's going to talk about a little bit later. All right, so next I'm going adding 200 grams of raw prawns. So again, I've just taken my lid off. I'll just give you a quick look in there. It's all beautiful. All sorts of Mediterranean type flavors in there. Tear my scales and just popping the prawns in. Oh, I'm a bit short. Oh no, there's one left in here. There we go. I know why, because when I defrosted them, they had tails on them. I took the tails off. That's made them weigh a little bit less. Measuring cup in, and then this is literally going to cook for 2 minutes on reverse. So my prawns are just going to cook. Prawns don't take very long. If you're looking for a quick fish dinner in your Thermomix, prawns are the go. It set the time for 2 minutes, 100 degrees, and it was just speed stir. So you can see the little spoon on there, but that just means that it's stirring. And I think we can probably move on now to Emmy, because we're going to come back to me when I'm ready to show it plated up. Thanks, guys.
Hi, everyone. Sorry. One of the beauties of working from home, or the curses, is that you also get to clean your kitchen while other people are having their turn. So my recipe today is I'm going to be making the coffee date muffins. Very, very, very quick and easy recipe to make. I think I'll be done in under 5 minutes, although I do like to bang on about Thermomix a little bit. So it could take a little bit longer. I will, in case I didn't introduce myself, I'm Emmy, by the way, in case we haven't met. I'm one of the very, very new team leaders. So this is my first class with this group of awesome team leaders. So the first step is to preheat the oven. I've been doing that for a little while. Now it's telling me to spray a 12-hole muffin tray with oil and then line it with muffin wrappers. I use these silicone muffin cup things that you can get in the mix shop, and the rose gold muffin tray. And then that means that I can keep reusing those. I don't have to keep using new ones every time I'm throwing them out, and I don't have to grease them, and they don't stick. So first in is 150 grams of pitted dates. For this recipe, you basically just throw everything in. 180 grams of warm water. Also, 1 tablespoon of instant granulated coffee, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and half a teaspoon of bicarb soda. So they're all just going to go straight in. And 90 grams of unsalted butter, which has been softened. 120 grams of brown sugar. So these are going to come to work with me in my other job tomorrow. And I'm sure my colleagues will be happy to try these out. 2 eggs, 180 grams of plain flour, plus 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder into the mixing bowl. 10 seconds with a lid on. Again, preset straight to speed 5. Now we're going to scrape it down. If you guys haven't seen this spatula yet, it will change how easy things are when you're using it. I didn't know what the big deal was with this spatula, but my old team leader always used to talk about it. And now that I've got one, I can see what the big deal is. It's so much easier with a long handle. So scrape that down. The lid goes back on, another 10 seconds. And it's as easy as that. That is the extent of effort that you're going to put in when you're making these coffee date muffins. Now I'm just going to divide them up into this the 12 holes and bake it for about 20 minutes, I think it is. 22 minutes on 180, and that's my muffins done. So very, very quick and easy recipe. I just wanted to show you guys something that you can make in the morning, even quickly throw it in the oven while you're getting changed and take it to work with you if you're still working in the office at all. But otherwise, very quick and easy if you have guests coming over. So that's me done. I'll be back with a photo when they're cooked to show you guys what they look like. Thank you for watching, everyone. Bye.
Over to me in Parkdale. I just want to say there's over 90 people here. Well, I don't know where you are, but the sun is still shining where we are. So we are so grateful that you have all joined us today. It just means a lot to us. We love doing this and we love inspiring you. So I just wanted to put another thank you out there. Meals in a Flash. I chose this particular dish because during the week when I'm working, coming home, the last thing I want to do is spend hours, sorry about the dog barking there, want to spend hours over the stovetop. So with the Thermomix, this one's really easy. Haven't made it before. Let's have a look, but it is super quick, super fast. So Mexican one-pot pasta. So I'm just going to go start cooking. And we're putting in 50 to 80 grams of cheddar cheese cut into pieces. Now, if you had shredded cheese, by all means, you could just put that aside ready to put on the top, but we're going to do that. And, you know, having your Thermomix, it's cheaper to buy it in blocks anyway and then grate it all. So that's just a money-saving tip for you there. And you don't have the anti-caking agents on the grated cheese that you do from the supermarket. So, you know, this is where we love the Thermomix. So we'll hit next and we're just going to grate that for 5 seconds. So we're just going to transfer that into a bowl and set aside. So I'll just show you. Look at that. How good is that? Now, if you find that your cheese does clump, I have read before that you can put a teaspoon of flour in there just as you're about to grate it, and that stops it from clumping. I didn't need to do that today. So I think, you know, the cheddar cheese, it's absolutely fine. It worked beautifully. So there we go. So we're going to pop that aside. And then we're going to rinse the mixing bowl, or when you're a consultant, there's lots of fantastic opportunities like earning a second bowl. So we've got the second bowl there. And we're going to pop in 150 grams of brown onion. Mine came to 107 because that was the size of the onion. It is guided cooking only, guys. So I think Michelle mentioned that before. You know, it's just a guide. So you do what you do on your stove top. We're going to add in 1 green capsicum, de-seeded and cut into approximately 3 centimetre pieces. I'm not really worried about how they cut because I know it's all going to be chopped up. So let's just pop that in. And then 2 garlic cloves. We love garlic here. So we're going 3. Why not? Pop the lid on. And we're going to just chop that for 2 seconds. See how everything is just quick, quick, quick when you've got the Thermomix. There we go. I'm just going to scrape that down a little. So I'll show you how beautifully that's chopped up. Couldn't do it in 2 seconds with a knife, betcha. All right, so we'll just scrape down. There we go. Hit next, and we're going to pop in 20 grams of olive oil. We're going to put in 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, and we're going to put in 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. Pop that in. And when you're doing your spices and you're cooking, if you're putting your spices in, just be careful not to pour them onto the blades because they can get all stuck and sort of all sit on the top of your blades. So just make sure you pour them around your blades. And we hit next, pop the lid on, and that's going to saute for 2 minutes on 120 degrees. The machine, because we're doing guided cooking, it is going on reverse because as we know, there's a blunt side to our blades and a sharp side. So it's just going to be stirring it rather than chopping it. And we're going to go speed 2. So that's going to cook, saute for 2 minutes. But what I thought when we were talking before about host rewards, I would also show you something that we have very special this month, which isn't normal. So, well, isn't normal. Is that the right thing to say? It is normal. But this is what we've got. It's a one-off time that we're offering this. So we all know that we can get our thermoserves, which are amazing. And thank you for those of you who have brought people along today that are curious about the Thermomix. So make sure you let your consultant know if you've brought those 2 people, which I know there's a few of you that have, then you will get access to the discounted thermoserves, bread mats, oven mats, all of that. But for this month, so this little beauty is our mini vac, and it is perfect for your kitchen. I store mine right next to my Thermomix. These are $2.99 at the mix shop. They are awesome, really good, right? And they're pretty too. They go nice and contemporary. You know, they're not a big ugly item, and super light, really great suction as well. But if you invite 2 friends along to one of these virtuals, you can get these at the discounted price of $149. Now, if one of those guests purchases a Thermomix, you can get this for $49. So $49 for a $2.99 little mini vac that is made by Verwell, which is, you know, we all know the Thermomix brand, absolutely amazing and engineered beautifully. So that, until I think the 3rd of November, you can get your hands on. So suss out some people that would like to come along to one of these and you could get one. Just pop that back. So I'll just show you where it sits. So mine just sits over here, as you can see. See, and they're nice sling lines, just beautiful. Speak to your consultants about it. All right, so next. So we've got 300 grams of small dried pasta. Now, in this recipe, they use little shells. I'm just using macaroni because that's what I had. So we'll just pop that in, bring the scales back to 0. We love those inbuilt scales. The beauty of the TM6 is that it's 1 gram increments. So it is super, super sensitive, which is great. And 400 grams of rinsed and drained black beans. So a 400 gram can goes down to about 250 after you've washed it and drained them. And I don't even know how to say it, to be honest, these things, the chipper, I don't know, the chilies in the sauce. So that's what we're using today.
Chipotle. There you go.
Thank you. So I'm just putting, so these are actually the minced ones. So I'm just putting about a tablespoon worth. It does say 2 to 3 of the chilies in the sauce cut into pieces. So we're just using the paste. And 400 grams of crushed tomatoes. Pop them in. So easy this, and I just love that in less than 30 minutes you have a dish and you don't really do much except chuck it all in. 1 tablespoon of white sugar. I actually put that in with the tomatoes earlier. You don't need to see that. And then 600 grams of water, because we want to cook that pasta, obviously. Hit next. And that's right, I forgot it. So 1 tablespoon of vegetable stock paste. I forgot that today. I've actually run out, so we won't be doing that one. So now we're going to pop our lid on. And you could use a stock cube if you didn't have the stock paste. I don't have the stock cube either. A bit unorganised today. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the steaming basket on the top. And the reason why we want to do that is we want to reduce the moisture that's in here whilst cooking the pasta and sort of reduce it down a bit, let maximum amount of airflow up there, but we don't want splashes. So that's why we're putting our steaming basket on there. And it's going to cook for 15 minutes on 120 degrees reverse, because we don't want to mash up that macaroni, and just to speed 1. So super easy. And you'll see that at the end, you just add sour cream and some coriander. For those that don't like coriander, you could just do a bit of parsley. And voila, you have your Mexican one-pot wonder. So I think we're heading over to Jenny now.
Yes, that's right. And yeah, I'm so glad you said that there's an alternative to coriander. Good. So I'm known for one of the other ones that can talk a lot, and that's why I'm trying to focus today. And I think I've also got only 10 minutes, but we're going to make Spaetzle today. So Spaetzle is my hometown dish. So this is I've got a lot to tell about Spaetzle, but we want to keep it really simple and really fast for you today. Anyway, so you already seen how we can get the dishes onto our screen. So if you can see, I've got both of my Thermomixes in action here today. This one actually has already made brown onions, and that's what I'm going to put on top of my Spaetzle when I serve them up with a layer of cheese. It's called Pear Spaetzle in German, which is cheese Spaetzle. And so they definitely need the brown onions on top. So that's what's already done. And here we're going to make the Spaetzle. And they're so quick, like all the other dishes here today. So don't blink, otherwise you're going to miss it. Let's get started. So first of all, we are going to start cooking, and it's going to ask us to put a pot onto the stove. So I've done that here, and have about 2 liters of salted water in there. So as you can see, it's actually boiling here already, so simmering, all ready to go once we come to that stage. And now we're going to make the Spaetzle dough. So we need 300 grams of plain flour. And just going to weigh that in. Built-in scales are the best. Just like so, a little bit more. Actually at home, we would always use a kilo of flour. You wouldn't do it in 300 gram batches. So, and 2 eggs here. For the kilo of flour, my grandma always used 10 eggs. So just so you know the relation there. If you want to use more eggs, that's absolutely fine. She used 10 because she said, and they're nice and yellow. So anyway, then we have 150 grams of milk. I think I measured it beforehand. A little bit more, that's fine. And a pinch of nutmeg. So I'm very specific with my nutmeg. I always love to freshly graze that. Fine, it makes a huge difference with the flavor, and I love it. That's why it's always got a little bit more than just a pinch in there. Then we're going to add 60 grams of water. Where's my water gone? Right here. Just like so. And a teaspoon of salt. My salt. Everything's vanishing in this kitchen. And again, I'm also a chucker, so I'm not. I never measure that in these little spoons and stuff. So I never do that. Anyway, that was basically it. So we're going to pop the lid on, and we're going to mix that on for 10 seconds on speed 3. As I said, I've used a little bit of more liquid because basically it makes it easier to work the Spaetzle at the end. So that was the 10 seconds. Now it says to transfer into a bowl. That doesn't make sense. So don't make another bowl dirty. Just leave it in there. So it has mixed it up. There's a little bit of flour still there on the side. So I'm just going to scrape that, and I can still see a couple of lumps in there. That's not what I want. So I'm going to add another 10 seconds of that recipe. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like the lumps. So 2 different methods. So I'm just going back and repeating that step. So as per recipe, or as per book, actually, it has pictures where it explains how we scrape the Spaetzles into the pot. And basically, you're going to put a blob of the dough onto a board, and you have a scraper. So you can either use the bowl scraper here. I've learned from my mother and my grandmother to use a knife, so I'm going to use a knife today, so for the scraping. And if you try and Spaetzle for the first time, then that's definitely the go-to method to do. Honestly, because I'm Schwäbisch background, I obviously do have a Spaetzle press, a Spaetzle maker. It's like a giant garlic press, so to speak, right? That's working like that, and it has these little holes there on the bottom, and they come in different shapes because Spaetzles should not be like pasta uniform. They should all be a little bit bigger and a little bit smaller, so that's what we want to see in there. So that's basically what I'm going to use to finish it up, but I'm going to show you how to scrape them from the board. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to move you a little bit over here. And yeah, so I can't have any lumps in my dough. Otherwise, in my Spaetzle press, they would get stuck, and that's definitely not what I want. Okay, so now I'm putting a little bit of the dough onto my board, and it should actually be wet. It should be a little bit water on it, but it's fine for the time that we have. Just like that, okay. And now you want to wetten your knife a little bit and spread it out to make it nice and thin. And then you're going to start scraping the dough. Can you see that? Straight into the bowl, just like so. All right. And always wetten the knife in between. And as you can already see, the Spaetzle I'm scraping in there, they do come in different shapes and sizes. That's absolutely how it's supposed to be. Actually, I think my grandma never used the Spaetzle press. I think to the day she scrapes them from the board. And in German, we actually say, in Spanish, we say handgeschabte or neigeschabte Spaetzle. So this is how German kids grow up, all right, with their type of Spaetzle. And I hope you can see that they're basically, so they're just slightly simmering there, so it doesn't have to boil. And the moment they come up to the surface, same like with the gnocchi, basically, then they're already done. So what you then need is a, what is this, is it a ladle? No, what is it? Can anyone tell me?
A slotted spoon?
Thank you. A slotted spoon, that's what we need. And I'm just going to transfer them for the time being into my thermoserver. So I'm just going to take them out. Like so. And you can see they all come in different sizes and shapes, all right? That's exactly how we want them to look like. And you just set them aside and keep them warm until you've done the whole batch. Not too much.
Would that work with gluten-free flour, or would it not be strong enough?
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I've never tried, sorry, but I would.
That's your job. Can you try that and let us know? You're the gluten-free girl.
We're on a diet.
Homework for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do with them, so basically in Germany, like everyone just, well, as I said, this is our pasta, all right? It's cheap, it's quick, it's just super easy to make, and you can feed a crowd. If you do that with a kilo of flour, absolutely, it will feed a crowd. So it's usually what you have it with your Schweinebraten or with, you know, with your Sunday roast with a lot of sauce, obviously. And I'm going to make mine the cheese Spaetzle today. So basically what I'm going to do is I have this casserole, I'm going to oil it, I'm going to add a layer of the Spaetzle in it, I'm adding a layer of grated cheese in between Spaetzle again, top, add some of the butter, salted butter there on top, and then finally at the end my browned onions come on top. And then everyone in the house who's not keto is going to dig into this dish. And great for preparation as well. All right, that was it for me for now. I'm going to finish off this Spaetzle here, and I think we're heading over back to Michelle.
Hello. My oven just beeped and it's not quite ready. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I think this is a bit of a thing of my oven actually, because I did cook it an extra few minutes the other night as well. So it literally has just been 25 minutes. So it's just starting to brown, but I just want it to be a little bit more brown. So I'm going to just give it 5 more minutes. But I don't know if Emmy's muffins are ready or...
I'm ready.
Was that you, Emmy?
Ready.
Yeah, okay, let's pop over there and we'll come back to me in a few minutes because I want to show it to you when it's ready.
Yeah, cool. It's going to make me hungry though, looking at it. Oh, is Emmy ready?
Let me unmute.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're ready yet. I'll check now. I'll flip. Oh, no, didn't mean to do that. How do I flip my camera? Here we go. All right, let's have a look. They're nearly ready. I don't think they're quite ready yet. They haven't, no, they're not quite ready yet. Probably at least another 5 minutes away, I'd say.
So come to me and I can show you. All right, before I get so hungry, I eat it.
It's amazing.
It is absolutely delicious. We've had it a few times, and I know, you know, some people think, oh, fennel, but it is just beautiful. It's a really mild flavour. The prawns are beautiful, and the fish, and obviously all the Mediterranean flavours, and a little bit of fennel on the side there to make it. Oh, I've forgotten something. Hold on. There, I'm saying I'm ready. So you actually serve it with a bit of feta cheese sprinkled on it too, and there, that makes it look even better. So there you go. That is the Mediterranean seafood with fennel and feta.
That looks delicious, Andy.
It's yummy. I made it a few times. Better go and wash my hands now.
You know what's funny about something like that? Even with us, I probably wouldn't have made that, but now that I've seen you make it, I will.
Yeah, it's funny, as you said, and seeing what Carla made, that salad she made last weekend or whatever. Yeah, there's that's one of the great things that coming onto these. You get inspiration, and we all try different things, and oh, you've tried that. Oh, that looks really good. Give it a go.
Yeah, and it's one of those, sometimes customers or people who are thinking about investing in a Thermomix, oh, is it hard to learn? And the quickest way to learn is to come on board and be a consultant, because it's very easy to learn anyway, because it is very intuitive, but you just get exposed to such, we're all so diverse with our backgrounds and our knowledge, just as you've seen today. And so there's things that, like, I wouldn't have tried that Spaetzle without seeing Jenny do that either, because I'm reading that, I'd be like, oh, that sounds too complicated. I don't know if I'm doing that right. Now that I've seen her do it, I'd go, oh, yeah, they're supposed to be uneven and they're supposed to be like that. And so just that level of understanding that you get by watching someone else do it, I think it's just, yeah, it's really great. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. And just things, even like the chicken Kiev, you know, I thought, oh my goodness, that looks way too hard. You make the chicken Kievs, and they are fantastic and they're so easy.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things, I don't know if you noticed before, but within Cookie Dough, we've mentioned Cookie Dough a few times today, and you can put in lots of filters. So, you know, there's been questions about gluten-free or dairy-free. You can put in filters to only look for certain types of recipes. You can also put in filters for how many people that you're cooking for. So you'll find that within the recipes, they will tell you that most of them will serve 4 and 6 on an average. But then you can search for larger meals, for example, as well. So there are some that serve 8, for example. So the dish that Kirsten's doing today is a all-in-one pasta dish. With those sorts of dishes, if you want to make them bigger, instead of adding the water, you could double the sauce and cook your pasta on the stove. So you've got lots of variation within, and you know, we've often referenced this guided cooking. You're still in control, and that's what's so great about it, is that you can leave things in, you know. So I'm a family of 4. We often have leftovers so then, you know, when kids are at school, it goes in a flask. At the moment, my husband's doing very well because I always prioritize the kids over him. But now that they're homeschooling, so he gets to have the leftovers in his lunchbox instead. So he's got 2 more weeks of joy before I hopefully can pack a lunchbox again for school. So yeah, so there's things within that you can cook for, but certainly, you know, there's lots of support information about. I've got a recent customer who's got 8 children, so they're cooking for 10 people, and she has said to me how much easier the Thermomix has made it. Jenny, you've got a thermo server of goodness there.
Yeah, I just thought maybe whilst we still have a little bit of time, I come back quickly and show you. So that's one batch that has been pressed through, and maybe you just want to quickly see that. So I'm going to have one last batch to press through. So now they just fill in the dough into this thing here, and that's how it looks like when I press that into the hot water. So you can see they flop out and they look like spaghetti, but they're not. So if my dough is liquid enough, then I don't have to press really hard. If you use less of the liquid, then obviously the pressing would be a little bit a little bit harder. In saying that, I've made a YouTube video about how to make Spaetzle, and I showed there a third way of doing it. So if you do have a colander sieve with rather big holes and your dough isn't too strong, then you could put that in a colander and then just use the bowl scraper to scrape it through the holes there as well. So on the YouTube video, I show you how this goes with the 3 different methods there as well. And yeah, and basically, as you can see already, they're coming to the top. I don't know if the camera really can catch that, but yeah, that's basically it. And they really look like pasta, right? Like Saute. So that's basically the whole secret of the Spaetzle making.
That was brilliant, Danny. We could see it.
Ah, good, good.
Back to Kirsten.
Yeah. So mine is ready. I can't wait. Do you know what? I've never thought of having Mexican pasta. Never cooked it before. But let me tell you, yum. Sorry for the non-lovers of coriander. We love it here. But it smells so good. And how much it makes. Amazing. So, and do you know what? While we've got you on here, I haven't had a taste yet, so I shouldn't rave about it until I've tasted it. So, Michelle, you've had this one often, haven't you? Or you've cooked it before?
I have cooked it, and I was actually inspired to cook it because Linda and our team did it at one of our cooking experiences, and I was a bit the same. I do a lot of pasta dishes and I do a lot of Mexican dishes, and combining the two, as you say, it makes a big volume. It's a good flavour.
Yum, really good flavour.
Yeah, I left it, I didn't put the chipotle in because I thought it might be a bit hot for the kids. So for anyone on today who's cooking for littler kids, you could just leave those out.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's too hot, but my kids may say otherwise. But yeah, give it a go because it's super quick. You saw how quick it was, and it makes truckloads. And who would have thought Mexican style pasta?
Yum. Enjoy.
Thanks. Well.
And 1 pot to wash, and now you can just use the pre-clean mode. For those who are not familiar with the TM6, there's a cleaning mode, 4 different options within the cleaning mode, which Kirsten can just pop a litre of water in there, a drop of dishwashing liquid, and in a few minutes while you're cooking dinner, the Thermomix will actually clean itself. Oh, there you go. In the time, she could put that on quicker than I could say it.
Yep, there you go. So I'm just going to get out of that recipe. I'm going to flick over. I'm going to put the lid on first. I just put a little drop of detergent in there, pre-clean, and just I'm turning it to universal. So that's going to clean as we eat, and I clean up the kitchen. But you know what? With the Thermomix in a 1 pot, there's not much to clean up. All right, who are we over to next?
Thanks, Kirsten. Back to me. I reckon mine's ready. I just heard it beep. Hang on. Go into the oven. Oh, yeah, perfect. All right, I'm happy now. All righty, just tilting that down so you can see how the pears have sort of sunken in, the cakes come up around it. It's really beautiful. Now, it's a bit too hot for me to cut open. However, I'm going to pop this down. However, I do have 2 bits left from the one I made on Friday night. So this is, I had a bit this morning already, but hey, who's counting? But it's a really beautiful texture and live taste test. So good. And you still get the really lovely texture of the blanched almonds through there as well. Really delicious. I highly recommend making this. As I said, it is a treat thing. It's not low sugar. It's not low carb, but it's high taste. Now, are you coming back to me, or are we going to go around the houses now? We need to go and see Emmy's muffins.
Yeah. Are you ready, Emmy?
I'm ready. I don't know if my muffins are.
Well, I'll tell you what, while we're talking muffins, so we had this great conversation in our meeting the other day. We were talking about the fact that the farmers have put a call out for people to buy strawberries. With all the restaurants closed and the cafes and the wineries and all of those places that would normally, hang on, my time is, all those places who would normally, I didn't do it properly, would normally buy strawberries. So we all went on a quest to make things with strawberries. So these are from the US platform, and they're a banana and strawberry muffin. Now, I mentioned before we're not massive cake family, but my kids really like these muffins. Now, today, I made them the other day with the strawberry and banana. Today, I added in some blueberries as well. So they're on the US platform. So if you remove your filters so you've got lots of access, this was really amazing muffin recipe as well. So anything like this, you can really good. And they will definitely freeze well. In fact, I made these last week when we were doing a strawberry for a big bonanza. So for all of you, we challenge you to go into Cookie Dough and find strawberry recipes and to help the farmers use the strawberries so they don't throw them out. Because we hate the idea of food waste.
Can I also say that apparently it's the same with pineapples. And they're also encouraging people to, instead of making a pumpkin lantern, to make a pineapple lantern using a pineapple. But
think of all the pina coladas you can make with the insides of that pineapple.
Oh, I know. How good. Yummy.
There you go. That's our superpower. We can turn anything into a cocktail. That's a great tip. Great tip. So I think, Michelle, we'll go to Emmy in a minute for the, thanks, Paige. I just saw that Paige has said she's going to take on the strawberry challenge. We love it. For those who aren't a member, we do have a Bayside Thermomix community page, which was started several years ago now, and we've got lots of members, and not everyone lives in Bayside, but that's okay. We're happy to share the love. But if you do want to take on our strawberry challenge, pop your photos on there and inspire each other. So there's, again, on the US platform, there was a recipe where there was a strawberry barbecue sauce. So instead of, barbecue sauce normally is plum-based, this was strawberry-based. So just lots of amazing fun recipes and things that you may not have made before. The other thing that we've made, a couple of us have made this week, and Kirsten and Julie have posted them on their Instagram and on our pages, but the strawberry leather, which is roll-ups. So again, thinking about kids' lunchboxes, my kids have always asked me to buy those, and I just refuse. The packaging alone just makes me go, I just can't buy those. So, but I was happy to make them, and I have since learned, I made them following the recipe. Well, I always like to do that the first time, but I have learned that you can do them without the sugar. So just any berries, and then thinly on an oven tray and in the oven for about 7 hours, and it basically dehydrates to what feels like a thin piece of leather that you just cut up and roll up. So, again, you're giving them a treat, but you're not, it's environmentally friendly, and you're kind of using healthy things as well. So lots of pluses there.
And if you are on the Bayside page, it is Facebook, Bayside Thermomix Community. Then I actually made a playlist of strawberry recipes from Cookie Dough. So just check that in files.
You did.
And on the Halloween thing that Mandy mentioned earlier, we are coming to that time of year, found a great one the other day from the Malaysian platform. It's actually candied strawberries on a stick. So instead of toffee apples, it's a toffee strawberry. So a super easy one, super quick, and it's bite-sized. So using your sugar modes from the TM6, it was actually toffee strawberry. So that's something I'm trying this week when I was searching strawberry recipes, but something that little bit different. Instead of giving a child an entire apple covered in toffee, tiny little strawberry, bite-sized piece. So just a different little idea for something to try.
Oh, that's a great suggestion. Was that you, Rhiannon?
Yes, everything to do with Halloween is generally me, so I do apologise about that.
No, don't apologise. We all need inspiration.
But yes, there's a Malaysian candy or Malaysian Asian sweets collection on Cookie Dough, and it's actually in that collection. And it's just strawberries on a stick, but done as toffee apples instead. So it seems like a great little idea, and it's that tiny little treat for them as well.
Sounds very cool. Hey, Emmy, how are your muffins going? I think everyone's desperate to see them.
Me too. I want to see them too. I reckon they are getting there. I reckon maybe another minute or two, because they just feel a little bit soft in here. My oven, I think, is not very accurate with its temperature, so I might turn it up 5 degrees or so just to finish it off.
Beautiful. Well, I think we can see how good they are. So
they smell amazing. Like, these would be so great for morning tea, just with that subtle coffee flavour. Yeah, you can just, it smells like coffee, but I don't think it's that strong. There's only a tablespoon of it in that whole batter.
Do you reckon you could put a tablespoon of Milo or something like that if you're making it for kids to not have the coffee?
Yeah, I reckon you could. And I actually, just listening to you talking about the strawberries just then, I think that these would actually go quite well with chopped up strawberries in there as well. Like I don't know if walnuts would go in there too, but you know how walnuts go really well in banana sort of bakes? I reckon strawberries might work quite well in this.
Yum.
But anyway, if they're not quite ready yet, they're not too far off. Oh, yeah, they might be, but that's them anyway.
They look great.
Yeah. That's all.
Enjoy. Well, we've been to everyone's house, haven't we? We've seen everything everyone's made. Pop in the chat which of the dishes you've seen today you're going to make. I know I've seen a few pop up of people saying they're going to make the one pot pasta. So let us know which has been your favourite. And if you've got ideas of what you want to see, you know, in the future, themes or skills, please let us know, because that's how we tend to derive these classes. We go, right, well, customers have asked for this or asked for that. So as I said, sometimes we use it based on this month being that it is our cookbook. So this is the Meals in a Flash cookbook. Now, you can, of course, access this cookbook on Cookie Do. However, in the front of our cookbooks, there's lots of other information, meal planning and how to shop and what you can prepare in advance. And so especially, I know a lot of us just love to flick through a glossy cookbook and not be on a screen, you know, on a computer or something all the time just with our recipes. So it is really a beautiful book to own. The kitchen toolkit does come with a range of implements, and I think it's a perfect timed gift with the fact that we in Melbourne can only go on picnics. So what a perfect accessory to have in your picnic basket. So these knives in here are all made with the same steel that the Thermomix blades are made from. So just to give you an idea of the quality. So you've got a couple of little paring knives there. This is a bread and butter knife. So this is a really sharp serrated edge to cut bread, but then the other side, this curved side, is to butter your bread. How clever is that? So the best peeler you'll ever have, I leave this on here so I don't cut myself when I pull it out of the bag. Some really great kitchen scissors that come apart for easy cleaning, and this amazing scoop for ice cream or scraping out seeds of a cantaloupe or anything like that, or scraping an avocado out of its skin. So it's a really beautiful fine-edged scoop. So this is a really fantastic purchase offer that we've got this month of October that you can access for free when you invest in your TM6. Michelle, have you popped a link in the chat for anyone who might like to jump on with you to hear about our business information? I can't see the chat at the minute, but if anybody...
Yes, doing it now, sorry.
It's coming.
Yep.
So thank you for joining us today. We had sort of nearly 100 people on, but if there are things that you would like to see specifically just for you, please reach out to your consultant. We do run these as private cooking experiences as well, where it's just you and a couple of friends, and then we can tailor the menu specifically to you as well. Michelle has popped her Zoom link in the chat box there. So if you would like to go, just copy that link now, and she will be on in about 2 minutes time to give you some information. It'll be about 20-minute session, so not a massive investment of your time, but it will answer all your questions. If you are interested but don't have time now, you need to go off and do other things, please let whoever invited you today know that you would like to know some more information, and we will get you along, because we also have another session on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. But that's bye from me for now. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to cooking for you again very soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, bye, Sue. Well, some of these things would be great in your cafe, Sue.